isolated.
Okay, we're ready.
All right. I'd like to open this meeting of the Bisbee Arts Commission on Monday, December 6th at 5:31 p.m. First thing we're going to do is a roll call.
Jenny Druckman,
Here.
Juanita Hill,
President?
Bill Higgins,
Here.
Karen Schumacher,
Present.
Sharon Stetter,
Here.
Amy Brett,
Here.
Angela Rockefeller,
Here.
Leslie Johns,
Here.
Nina Williams here.
Thank you guys all for being here this evening. I know this agenda is a little bit overwhelming, but we're going to try and go through it at a pretty even pace. First thing, item 1, approval of the minutes of the November 1st, 2021 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move we approve the minutes of the November 1, 2020 meeting.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Juanetta seconds. Are there any comments whatsoever? Then all ayes.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion approved. Item 2, approval of the minutes of November 8th, 2021 special meeting.
I move to approve the minutes of the November 8, 2021 special meeting.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Any comments, anything? Then all ayes?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion approved. See, that's what we can do it like that. Item 3, so discussion and possible approval to allow Rita Berry to use her grant funding for a different project due to COVID performance art balls. Rita Berry came to me and said that she was not right now able to do her original funded project. We have funded her a few times for different things that she's done, and right now Central School is not allowing performances that involve children because they're not vaccinated. So she was asking if she could change her funding. Were you guys able to read her paragraph about what she wanted to do? Do I have any questions about Rita Berry's project?
I saw her starting it. Sorry.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
I'm in the performance, so I have to basically accuse myself.
Well, you can accuse yourself, yeah.
I accuse myself of doing it.
Recuse yourself.
I heard a detailed description of someone who went to the performance, and it sounded really wonderful. It sounds like a great substitution for what she wanted to do with her funding.
I felt the same way, and we had made a pledge to be pretty flexible right now because of COVID, so, any other comments? Did you have a comment, Amy?
I saw the window when she was going, and it was pretty well done. It looks like it'll be a nice display and something fun on Main Street for everybody.
I do have a comment.
Yes.
She was worried about it having to go back to council. She said she understood if it did, but we already gave her the $500, so it doesn't have to go back to council. It's just changing the project.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, great.
No, but I wanted to confirm that.
Oh, perfect.
I think it's a really nice, creative way to get around the situation.
Then do I have a motion?
I move to approve allowing Rita Berry to use her grant funding for a performance called Balls. Art Balls.
I'll second it.
Angela seconds, all ayes?
Aye.
Any nays? Then motion approved. So this is the one, all right. So there's some things on here that we're not gonna vote on tonight because it's a little bit ahead of schedule, but I left things on because these are all pretty important things, and there's something to say probably about most of them. Item 4, discussion and possible action regarding the following items for the BAC event to be held in 2022. First, what the BAC would like to convey to the public with the name and catchphrase of the event. This is also the appropriate time for talking about the name. Yes?
No, just nodding.
So we had talked about a few names. We have Bisbee Celebration of the Arts, Bisbee Festival of the Arts, both of which I thought were pretty appropriate. We had First Annual Festival of the Arts, though that was a little bit too much because we didn't know exactly how we were going to feel next year. We talked about it being a biannual event instead, but I think that it probably is in our best interest to maybe keep that out. We had Bisbee Elevated Arts Festival and Bisbee Elevates the Arts. So,
And Bisbee celebrates.
Really,
It's
Bisbee? Bisbee celebrates the arts. So it is in our best interest to go ahead and pick a name because we can't do a lot of other things until we do that. So what I'm asking for this evening, because I know that we felt all, we didn't have a problem with any of these names. Does anybody have an extreme emotion about pro any of the names? I personally like Bisbee Festival of the Arts, but just because it was encapsulated everything, or Bisbee Celebrates the Arts. Does anybody have an extreme emotion against either of those?
I like Bisbee Festival of the Arts.
Does anybody else have an opinion about which way we go?
That sounds good.
Either one.
Just good.
Good rock, paper, scissors or something.
Angela?
I prefer something simple, Bisbee Festival of the Arts.
I feel like we can go any way we want when we have a name, so it doesn't really matter. If we had something that was really too hip, in 10 years it would be outdated.
Yeah.
And so we needed something that was simplistic enough that we could go with. Then I'm gonna move to use Bisbee Festival of the Arts. And I think that's the one that's the easiest to make possible.
Yeah, I am a little bummed that we couldn't come up with something creative and unique, being that it's about the arts, but then it gets too confusing with what it is.
Then we can do that with a catchphrase.
Yeah.
Yeah, the catchphrase.
Well, there's also a thing that if anybody has an epiphany after this moment, and we talk to the graphic designer that we choose, and they have that idea that we think is astounding, we can come back and re-vote on it. So nothing is concrete, but it would be nice to have something to go forward with.
Mhm.
So, unless anybody has an extreme emotion about any of it, I'm gonna move to approve Bisbee Festival of the Arts to be the name of the BAC event. Do I have a second?
Second.
All ayes?
Aye.
Feels really honest tonight.
Yeah, he's like in the starting block. He's ready, he's getting this meeting over with fast.
That way I can go ahead and buy the web address
Oh,
and all that stuff. And we can start. And then the catchphrase. That was one that, did anybody come up with catchphrase?
I like the elevate
Me
concept
too.
somehow, but that might be too similar to.
What was it?
I like the elevate concept because we're at a high elevation.
Yeah,
All that.
like elevating the arts in southern Arizona.
But I don't know how to.
Yeah, I actually, the thing kept popping in my head, the last time that, it popped in my head, I thought it was just foolish, but it popped into it again. The catchphrase, wild, weird, and wonderful,
Well, good.
Mhm.
that sounds
just for a
good.
catchphrase.
Let's do that. Let's just go on that.
You guys are really, you guys all have coffee before you came. Everybody's very,
That's so busy.
everybody's very
though.
decisive.
It
this evening.
is really.
But
I
the
like
show
it
may
too.
not be
It's a little, it's
weird or wild.
It will be.
It will be.
You think it will be?
Yes,
Yeah.
and wonderful.
Well, wonderful, of course. It's
And
gotta be
weird.
wonderful.
And
Wild.
probably wild.
I like elevation of the arts too. It's whatever you guys feel like you want to use, and we can.
Elevating the arts in weird, wild, and wonderful
Wild.
ways.
You
Weird.
could use both of those, actually, you could say,
That's a catch
elevate the
sentence.
arts.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can also take it to the graphic designer and see what they come up with too.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't want to necessarily have a catchphrase until we have an image.
Elevating the wild, weird, and wonderful.
I
Oh,
can't remember if it's IE.
I like that.
I like
I
that.
like that.
And the normal in
It's so
some
weird.
regards.
Yeah.
Have you ever met anybody normal in business?
Or is it I?
Hey, you
That's what
guys,
I was.
I hate to remind you, but again, I'm just going to remind you if I don't probably, is that we have to make sure that we only talk one at a time.
Oops.
Just because it's hard for it's hard for the public. The enthusiasm is incredible. And I do feel like the agenda is making it so everybody is incredibly decisive because they're looking at this list of things.
I like wild.
I don't feel particularly attached to any catchphrase at the moment, but
Does anybody like elevating the wild, weird, and wonderful? Or does anybody have
I just like wild, weird,
a,
and
like the
wonderful.
wild, weird, and
I think that's Bisbee.
I feel like elevate is something that's overused around in a lot of art things. I've seen it so many times. course, then maybe it would bring people to the Bisbee site or whatever, because they'd be like, I wanna look at that one Elevate Art Festival, and
We could levitate.
The only thing is that I like the descriptors, but I was thinking of something more that was just like a phrase.
Yeah, it should be concise, like wild, weird, and wonderful.
And the thing about.
Celebrate art in wild, weird, and wonderful ways. We can throw them all together. Now, wild, weird, and wonderful, I think is good.
Yes.
And adding ways at the end, so, you know, art, elevating art in wild, weird, wonderful.
I think if you
It's
have
hard
too
to
many
say.
words.
Yes, too many things.
Too many
Wild,
words.
wonderful, wild and
Yeah.
wonderful.
It doesn't look good on a poster if you have too
Yeah.
many
Yeah, exactly.
words.
Nobody's gonna read it.
But,
Well, like I said, we can work with the graphic designer too, if we want to, and see what they come up with. Because depending on the image, the reason I'm saying this is that, just to give you a little, the image I'm about to show you,
Yes.
which I don't know if anybody else brought images, weird, wild, and wonderful doesn't necessarily go with the image, but we're totally open
With what image here?
with the image I'm gonna show you here in a minute.
Oh.
Do we need to approve the catchphrase first?
We don't have to, I think we can,
It could be
Well, let's look
something
at
like, we could, if we wanted, celebrating or elevating wild, weird, and wonderful, you know, or just celebrating the wild, weird, and wonderful art of Bisbee. I mean, it's too much, too many words.
yeah.
I just don't think it's quite there yet. Celebrating the,
3 words should. not be
celebrating
more
the
than
wild
3.
and wonderful, the weird, wild just always makes me think of Tombstone.
Yeah,
Sorry, Tombstone.
yeah.
Weird and wonderful.
Weird and
Is there
wonderful.
another W word you could come up with, just like that?
Yeah, need more alliteration, please.
Well, I don't want to celebrate too much weirdness. I mean, I don't want
Wow,
to.
weird and wonderful.
Well,
Why do we,
We're appealing to
Weekend.
people coming from out of town. That's only done.
Anna, can we go out of order on that?
Oh, yeah.
Wild, wacky,
So-
and wonderful.
yeah,
We don't have to stay in order because they're all item 4, so let's,
okay.
okay.
We could
so
just
let's,
down.
let's wait
go
for a
after
second.
that.
Because we're gonna talk about things that are gonna make that go one way or another.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is discussion, artist work in town or graphic design artist. And then that also encapsulates the graphic design artist portfolios that we guys sent you. We sent you 2 people. Did you guys have a chance to look over their work?
I did.
I did.
I couldn't load Liz Ann's for some reason.
Yeah, same here, the zip files,
I get it.
yeah.
Give me a second and I'll pull them up for you on my
Okay.
computer, okay?
The other person I was able to see.
Same here.
Ally had a website.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Sharon and I, and we were talking about last meeting, we came up with a few people. These are 2 people that live in town, that was very important to us, and 2 people that are actively doing graphic design right now. Ally Zigarelli, and then Lizanne, I think she's called.
Oh,
Yeah. And when I looked at both of them, I felt like we would be fine either way. But I'll show you guys the work so that we can make an informed decision. Give me a second. So I downloaded all of Lizanne's thing, huh? I had to download it and then.
Yeah, I had to look at them one
And
at a
look
time.
at
It
each
was
individual.
slow, and
Yeah.
I'm familiar with her stuff too, so.
I had a hard time too, but I finally, somehow or other, made it work.
I can get it to her, I can get it
Well, I did. I called,
I'm
I
sorry,
emailed.
to her. Did you?
I emailed
I didn't have
Nina and
time to-
said, I can't open it, and she sent it back. And I was able to do that. She knows how to do everything.
Hopefully it makes you feel good how much we all.
Sorry, I was re-downloading it.
I had a preference.
What was your preference?
My preference was, and I can tell you why, the Ally Zigarelli. When I looked at her art, and I got an actual degree in graphic design, but I did learn a lot of
These are all
things about
personal.
layout and
Okay.
balance and
which-
text and all that, and I think they're both really great. I think either one would be good. I think Ally's was a little bit more professional. It looked, she had a better sense with the layout of the text and the images and the just overall balance, and her use of, trying to think of the word for the actual text on the
Font?
images, not just the fonts, but her spacing.
Like the typography of the whole situation?
Yeah, the typography was better. She, the other artist, which I can't remember her name, they were both good, I'm sure either would be good, but she tended to use all caps in almost all of her work, and the spacing was really tight, and there was not as good of a balance. I hate to say anything critical, it's just I think that Ally's was maybe a little better. Like if anybody didn't have a preference, those were some things I was looking at, although either, as you said, would be.
I like both of their works. The biggest difference between, I love Lizanne's work, and I like Ally's work quite a bit. Ally designs websites too,
Right.
which is like not what I'm trying to do most of that because we can't afford to pay her to do the whole thing. But I know that for me, it might be easier to work with somebody who does a lot of website stuff.
Right.
Because I'm gonna have to have certain sizes of stuff to put on the website. That was the main difference.
That was the
for me.
thing I noticed in each of their descriptions, was that it
Let's
seems
see,
like
Ally's.
Ally has more experience with what we want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I like both of their works, and you're welcome to take them. I'll have to scroll for you if anybody wants to look at it.
Got it.
Did anybody want to see anything else?
I know, look at it. I have a couple questions though. Since I'm coming to this without an educated eye, okay, could you tell me some of the specifics that you would be looking for in the design, okay?
Primarily, I know, at least in my opinion, what I'm looking for is art festivals happen across the country.
Yeah.
There is a certain age group that likes to go to art festivals, and me. And I'm hoping for a little bit of a youth, like taking it and making it a little bit more useful so that it's attractive to young people as well.
What age group does like to go, Karen?
I would say my mother's generation, that's what I grew up going to art festivals with my mom.
Uh-huh.
So, and I mean, that's what it seems like a lot of times is that it's the baby boomer generation that grew up going to a lot of art festivals. And so making it a little bit more youthful in that way, and that was one of the things that I was looking for. And then really just the ability to do the internet, the web stuff,
Yeah,
just in case I have any questions or stuff. But I like both their works.
okay.
I think my preference personally is Ally. I'm with you, but you know, I'm open to hearing what everybody has to say.
I just prefer Ally's work and her experience,
I liked her
as
map
far as
too, we're gonna have a map.
her skills that she's
Yeah.
bringing.
When I was looking at Ally's stuff, I think I just felt a sense of cleaner.
And I think that just comes from the kind of work that she was doing too.
Yeah, and I did check out the map, and I thought that was nice to see an example of a map that she had done, because we'll be wanting one of those.
Do they charge, is their fee
Ally
similar?
is $25 an hour.
That's really reasonable.
I don't know what Lizanne, do you know what Lizanne's charging?
I forgot to ask her.
I thought it was more than that.
That is really reasonable.
That is.
I was talking to her on the phone today, asking her about a rate, and I thought that was, because I've definitely heard people charging $40 an hour. Nothing set in concrete, remember that, but it would be nice to go forward. But are you ready for a motion?
Yep.
All right. Then I move to approve Ally Zigarelli to be the graphic artist of the BAC event that will be held in 2020. Do I have a second?
I second.
All ayes? Any nays? All right.
Where's
So,
their names on here?
They're on the emails we got.
Yeah, that's not on the.
It's not on
Not
there.
here.
well, there were possibly gonna be more people too.
Yeah.
But it seemed like some people were inactive, and then
Yeah,
even though I love Bridget's work, I feel like we should be keeping money here in town right now, because we got money for town, so.
Yep.
yeah.
Seems
Okay.
like, okay. And so, did anybody bring images of what they were thinking, or, I'll show you what I thought, but I feel like I'm sort of I'm just incredibly opinionated, and so
yeah.
sometimes I feel like I need to.
Never thought about it.
I had a bit of an epiphany. If it's not for you, I totally understand. Are you guys familiar with Suzanne McKee's work? So what we were talking about is finding a graphic designer and then having an artist's work that we use for the posters too. And I was trying to think of an artist that encapsulated the feeling of Bisbee.
Yeah.
There are a few, you know, but a lot of them have been used over and over again. Like Judy Perry has been used quite a bit, of course. Gretchen Bayer has been used a lot. Sam Wolcott has been used a lot. So I was looking at different artists' work in town, and a few weeks ago I saw this painting. This is not necessarily the image but I thought that it just kind of spoke to me. Please don't judge me for saying that, world. So I'll show it to you and see what you guys think.
What did you say her name is?
Suzanne McKee.
McKee.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I know Susan.
Yeah, see.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know who she is. I even know where she lives. Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, that was posted on.
And I'm not saying we have to use this image or anything, but I'm just saying, there's something about that work, especially, I think in a map form too, they work together, it can be incredibly charming.
I've seen a lot of her work.
It's nice, it's refreshing,
small,
too.
But it's.
She's also a SIG artist.
Yes, she is. She's been supporting us from the get-go.
Yeah, I really
Isn't
do
it cute?
like
It
her
is.
work, too.
Oh, that's cute.
So, but I mean, does anybody have any?
So we could use that, what the thought was that could be part of the image that we hand to an alley at this point.
Yeah.
To say, can you play with this and and as long as Suzanne McKee, which she seems to be on board, this could be like a kind of jumping off point now. Yeah.
She would probably even be willing to make she might have something of Lowell on that Erie Street or.
She sent me I texted her, she sent me another image. I mean, she has quite a few, she's been really into doing plein air lately of Bisbee. And I believe she sent me another image, but I mean, we haven't decided, you know, what we're gonna pay, if we wanna use this image, what we pay and all those things, but it's sort of a jumping off point. I was gonna show you the other one.
How do you spell
I
her
have a
name?
question.
Suzanne,
MC.
Yeah, Bill?
Yeah,
Thank you.
this image would be used in conjunction with the,
it's just an
you
option.
know, our catchphrase, because, you know, it's a beautiful image of Bisbee, and you know, absolutely, there's something about it when you look at it, you know, it really captures Bisbee, but it doesn't go with our slogan of wild, weird, wonderful, so, you know.
Well, that's why I was like, wait.
You know,
Yeah,
they don't go together.
So we might have to work on this.
Or
Yeah.
she could create something that was reflective of wild, weird, and wacky.
So we can
That's
change our
right.
slogan,
Wobbly.
yeah.
We haven't voted on it yet, so it's open, but
Yeah,
Waffle,
that
that's
was
it.
waffle.
right now I'm not sure if this is a stepping off point for a graphic designer. The thing that Sharon and I liked is that this actually has the B and C colors in it.
Yeah, very much.
So that
So.
was convenient. So if we,
You know, that's warm, that's a W.
or if we commissioned her to do work, obviously we'd have to pay for the commissioned work, so, but just kind of starting off with this and seeing what happens. You know, she seemed very open to it. I think she would do a commission if we wanted to, like I said, but if somebody has a different, idea of what they want it to look like, or what we want to convey to the public, I'm open to that as well.
Well, see, what I see is something similar to many things I've seen of Judy Perry and other artists with the hill and the color and everything. So how is that a wow?
It's just a different one.
Yeah, it's different.
Well, we could
but
also,
it's still
we wouldn't have to use this image.
Mhm.
We could also use it simply as something to give the graphic designers colors, you know? We don't have to use that image at all, but the colors I thought were really good for us. Or we could just ask Ally to, you know, come up with a few mock-ups and see what she gets.
I think the
'Cause
nice.
she's the professional, so she might have better ideas than she'll have better ideas than any of us.
She will.
Well, Suzanne McKee's work, it has simple, bright, kind of basic, flat areas, which might really be good for a poster that has some
Right.
text and things that you know, wouldn't be so busy that you couldn't see what was
That's
happening.
true.
Right, and it does look like Bisbee, then the argument could be made, does it look like, you know, an art festival?
No, and that's true.
You
Well,
know?
and that's kind of where I'm leaning. is
Yeah.
I'm thinking I would like an image that would evoke more
Art
the
festival,
And
right.
it might have to do a
Festival
multiple
feeling?
collage type image of this.
Yeah. And I'd be really curious to see what the graphic artist would come up with, because
Let's see
it
what she comes up with.
doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
mean a poster without, a lot of the posters I like don't have images in the background.
That's right, I love posters that just have a lot of topography.
You know, that's something that has like
And
maybe a clean logo and that could be carried between various forms
And-
of marketing.
Yeah, and there's gonna be, you know, different needs. Initially, the first need with the poster is to to get the word out there that this is happening and to ask for people to contact us, to get in touch, you know, to be a part of this event. And then after some point when we are settled and we have the artists chosen and we have the booths chosen, then it's more of an advertisement for an event. So right now, it's to entice people to get involved, so there's different, you know, different calls for it. And you see that in her work.
Yeah, let's just see what she comes up with then.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
may just go around and
Sorry,
have her own
the mask
ideas
doesn't
of
stay on it.
Bisbee art.
So let's see
The
what she
wire
comes up with and go from
broke.
there.
Yeah.
So the next meeting, our next meeting, which is the January meeting, we'll vote on the poster.
Okay.
Okay, we'll bring the poster here and I'll just give her the guidance of just,
The colors are good though.
Do
Yeah.
we want to set a budget on that initial?
several thousand. Graphic design and advertising was together and it was the largest amount.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll pull that and make sure, but at 25 an hour, if we're able to knock out the website without her doing it, I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
But there will be additional things like designing banners and designing, you know, all those other signs, so we'll keep that in mind too. I kind of gave her a layout of like, we might need you more than you realize. Because we're just talking about a poster and an ad right now, but it's gonna be more than that. And she was very good, and I had heard from other people that she'd worked for, that her turnaround was,
Rapid, cool.
Good.
which is I love, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll wait on that. So, can we make a motion to pay $25 an hour? Alright. I move that the BAC pay Ally Zigarelli $25 an hour for the BAC Bisbee Festival of the Arts. Do I have a second?
I second it.
All ayes?
Aye.
Any nays? So let's move on. Catchphrase, are we okay with waiting and seeing what she comes
Yeah.
up with?
Yeah.
Yeah, that catchphrase may not fit with what she
She,
comes
yeah,
up
she.
with.
Yeah, I'm
has
kind of interested to see what she comes up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, she might have some great ideas.
So website landing page goes along with, Sharon and I wrote a timeline. That's stereo, huh? Of different things, and so as soon as we have the name, which we have, and a little bit of graphic design work, I think the timeline for the page was fairly fast, right? The website, so by January.
Oh, yeah, hold on. By January, we're gonna vote on where we will spend our advertising dollars. We will have our first advertisement agreed and meet with the gallery owners, collecting artist names and contact info. We'll continue that. What did we say? Karen will create a website landing page for the festival. Yeah,
By January?
in December, by January.
Okay, so I can buy a name now,
Okay.
talk to you about that. And then buy the space page for the year, and then make the landing page. The sign up for the booth, it goes right to Google Docs. It's very simple. It's like a form. I don't know if you've ever gone to probably not with the Optimo pages or the Bisbee Craft School website that I made. It's just a form that shoots it over to Google Doc. Fairly simplistic, and so the more graphic design work we'll have, the more we'll be able to add to it. But the deadline, so we wanted to have sign up for the booth start.
Well, people should be, by March, we're gonna finalize, this. So January, February, March, we're going to be collecting all of the names that we can collect. And in the meantime, hopefully you guys are adding to that list of names.
Yeah.
Oh no, but for the booth people, not
For
the,
the booths, we should have it finalized. We say here that we're gonna.
By
finalize
March?
Yeah, by the end of March, secure for, so April, by end of March, by April meeting.
by April, so that means that we'll have, it should be up by January probably.
Do we have the timeline?
You didn't give us a timeline, did you?
Apparently, I just sent it to you, maybe we didn't print this out.
Did you send it to me?
I did send it to you.
Oh.
Yes, I did.
I'll pull it up for you.
December 1st, 2021, we had our meeting, and
I just missed that email.
you just missed that email.
I'm pulling it up, one second.
This was just, you know, what our meeting, what you and I talked about.
Maybe you
last
could just
meeting.
forward it.
It will forward it to you
Or
guys.
It's really not, again, it's like, look at it and realize there's room in there for a lot of things to be added.
Yeah, please, when we forward it to you,
This was
yeah,
just the
look at
things we
it.
were looking at initially, right away, we have to accomplish.
Oh,
And then that includes the
Because the
deadline.
holidays are in here, yeah.
Yes, Bill?
How many booths are we gonna have that hasn't been determined yet?
30 was what
30.
we
Oh,
said.
oh, you guys did determine 30? Okay.
Well, that's
Well,
what
we can fit 30, according to Jenny and I walked the street, and
Okay.
we can do 30 booths.
Okay, so you, that's all that.
Yeah, so we'll send that to you guys to look over it and see if there's gonna be glaring holes, probably, you know, things that,
And how we allow for these artists to have a booth is gonna be an interesting thing for us to decide, because there'll probably be a lot of people wanting a booth since we're not charging for booths. And it's gonna, so some of this needs to be, we wanna talk it through now or later?
let me see, I think it's on the agenda at some point.
Okay,
Do we have to notify the other businesses on the street?
we're gonna include
Yeah,
them,
this is later in the booth thing is, it's coming up in a minute.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, we will notify, but we will also have to go to the city, hopefully relatively soon, like the February, March, and tell them our plan and get approval to shut the street down, which I don't foresee a problem with, because they gave us money to shut the street down.
Yeah.
But we have to give them a heads up of what we're expecting.
And being that it's not Main Street, you know, there's other ways to get.
There's easily,
Yeah.
Right.
Always just.
But yeah, we're about to go over some of that, so let's stick with the,
Yeah, go fast through that.
the deadlines for the event and the website landing page, or the deadlines for the event involves the timeline, we'll send that to you. Sharon and I spent a morning trying to figure out everything in the next few months that needed to get done. When you see it, please add to it, because there are.
Yeah, there's some, yeah, we just did it real fast, like
Yeah.
what, right now, are we?
So the next thing on the meeting then is the community meeting for nonprofits and galleries. If we have a community meeting, do we have to be videotaped, probably? How does that work?
I'm not sure yet. I don't know. I meant to ask Ashley. She just got back today from vacation. I meant to ask her, but I know it's going to have to be a quorum notice and all of that. But I don't think it has to be. It could have to have an agenda, but I'm not sure.
Because they used to have those meetings at the Royale with council members, right?
Like the ward meetings?
Yeah, like a ward meeting sort of.
Yeah.
I never recorded one of those.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So I think as long as I do the notice and the quorum and invite and get that out to
That'll be
the
okay.
website and all and get it posted.
So, so we would like to meet with the community. Not the whole community, because that would be crazy. But specifically nonprofits that are involved with art and the galleries, to let them know and let them have a voice, right? On what's happening. So it would be best to probably, nothing's gonna happen in December.
Yeah.
So January. So is there a time in January? I would prefer it to be after 5. We could hold it at, usually we can only have a certain amount of people at Central School. Where could we hold it?
Central School?
How many people do we
There's
anticipate?
probably 10 people, because there's not that many, but I want to make sure that we have space for all the gallery members.
Sloan did say that we could use that conference room in his gallery space
Okay, that would
on
be
Main
great.
Street, so
Or we could
I
do
will,
it here.
or it could be here.
Yeah, it could be here.
If it's, the only thing, if it's not being videotaped, then Nina doesn't have to be there, then I prefer that Nina doesn't have to, so we're about to take over her life.
That's all right.
So Artemisia would be great. So, well, we probably need to talk.
Let me ask Sloan if he is sincerely interested in letting us do that.
Then let's
If
vote on.
not there, then, probably we could use, the building, Will Nathan's building. There's a conference room in that building that's usable, I think.
So if we'll talk to a couple people, then how about we vote on that as of the January meeting, and then we'll have a meeting a couple weeks after. Probably.
Yeah, so
Okay,
we
so
can
put
have
that
the
back on
early
the January
meeting.
Yeah,
We'll
because
vote on
we can't
it.
vote on something that we haven't asked.
Okay.
Okay, so then we're gonna shoot to try to have this mid-late January.
Mid-late January.
Okay, all right.
That way, we'll have like 2 or 3 weeks notice. I think that'll be plenty for Bisbee.
And I'll contact Sloan.
Yeah, and
So
I'll
we're
see.
having 2 meetings ourselves in January, correct?
Yes.
And this meeting, so if it feels like it's too much, you do not have to necessarily attend this meeting, this extra meeting. This one is just to tell them what is going on.
Yeah.
So that 6 months from now, they're like, you didn't realize there was an art festival.
Yeah, we would actually like, of course, the businesses on Main Street to participate, the galleries to participate, everybody to get involved in doing the festival.
Yeah, and we'll invite them, but yeah, we have to make a place for sure.
I'm just thinking if we've already, we already taken out the first Monday in January and the
Okay.
third Monday in January. We're definitely not gonna have it the second Monday in January because that's only 1 week's notice, so I think we're set for the fourth Monday in January. I have like,
So maybe
If it's a Monday meeting, yeah.
yeah,
24th, so after the 24th is probably right?
there's just process of
No,
elimination.
that's true. Well, I thought you meant like, you're like, that's a lot of meetings, and I was like, that is a lot of meetings.
I'll have a meeting every week if it makes things easier.
Yeah, let's talk to a few people and see where, when they're open to it. Okay.
Is it okay if it's not on a Monday?
Does anybody have a day of the week that they forbid that they cannot do?
I can't, I teach 3 nights a week and
Yeah, I teach
4 nights.
Thursday.
Are Mondays good for you usually?
Yes,
Okay.
well, I don't teach on Monday because of this.
Okay, so let's try
And we'll
to
take
keep it
another
on.
Monday from you. All right. Any other comments on that, or I'm gonna move it ahead, I know, because it's.
Move ahead.
So, discussion holding an event at Central School. Sharon Sutter and I are gonna meet with Lori tomorrow at 10:30 and talk to her about, and bring back what she says to you. So there's no vote on that, and that will also involve, that's all of the Central School things.
Will it be a preview of what's going to be in the festival? Is that what you're saying?
What we were trying to talk to her about is that, what I had proposed to Lori, or actually what Lori proposed to me, I got it backwards, is that if we were having an invitational art show, wouldn't it be nice to have an art show simultaneously at Central School that was open to everyone? So that if we were able to so we could advertise that too, and everybody would have
So that all of the arts of Bisbee will be showcased, not just the invitational people that we do have to consider what that means when you're
Yes.
invited to do this, so.
that way it felt more,
Inclusive.
It's inclusive.
That's great.
Yeah, so yay, thank you, Lori McKenna.
So my question, she would facilitate the planning and the organization of an event at Central School. We're not going to be responsible.
No, they have their own members, and we have our own members, and they have an exhibition committee that puts everything up for shows. But that way, we could be more inclusive,
Yeah.
and we could also advertise other things going on in town,
Right.
so that when people were like, I saw everything in Lowell, we could, with this map that we are doing, we could show all the galleries and show, hey, this show's also happening at Central School.
Cool.
Okay.
But we can't vote on it yet, because we have to talk to her tomorrow, so.
Okay.
Same thing with the installation, she had brought up an idea of having an installation in the parking lot during the same time. So, for instance, in like Tico McMurtry, if we didn't want to do it on Main Street, but just not necessarily him, but just having the whole town do something all at the same time. Sounds a little crazy, but I think it's a possibility. Yeah, and that one of the same reason we're going to talk to the galleries, because we want everybody to participate. We want everybody to gain something from it. So I will skip the central school and go to discussion pit parking shuttle service. That's just something that deadline wise we were talking about the other day. We have to come up with a plan for the city. Ken Budgeon mentioned that he believed that we were gonna have to use shuttles. I think that Sharon had mentioned that she wanted to see if we could get the ability to let people park at the pit.
Yeah.
That's Freeport's land,
Yeah, I
right?
think that's Freeport's, so you'd have
So
to
have to-
contact them.
Okay, well, I was working with the science lab for a while, so.
So if we
You should
do a shuttle
remember
service
these
though,
things.
we would be working with the city of Bisbee, right?
I think so.
Mhm.
I mean, because you guys contract the shuttle, right?
You mean the bus?
You mean the Bisbee bus?
Bisbee bus.
So like when the other, remember the music festival that happened at Lowell? They used your buses.
Yeah, but they pay for those. They pay for the drivers, and there's extra. Like you have to say what you want and for how long you want it.
Can we
So
find out how much that would cost us?
yeah,
Because it's something that, because there's limited parking in Lowell.
Well, and I'm also thinking of, we're going to have performing arts and needing to set up outdoor stages, and that's gonna even subtract from our
Can
parking
we-
as well.
Could we ask Lowell School about their parking lot?
That's a good idea.
Yes, it is.
And people have parked at the high school before too for events. But that'd be a lot closer. That's a good idea.
Lowell's right across the,
Urban.
No, they have that whole big lot across, too. Not the graveyard, but
Park at the graveyard.
Just park in the graveyard.
So yeah.
If we use the school, would there be, other considerations that have to go with that, like cost?
Sure.
well, that's what we've got, that's a discovery, so do you want to talk to Lowell School and ask
Do I
them?
wanna?
Yeah,
Sure, I'll talk.
you want to talk to Lowell School?
And then the discovery of finding out what the city would charge us.
Who is the current principal is, what's her
Well,
name?
probably it's-
Yeah, you just, I would just call
Yeah,
to the
just call
office,
the school.
in admin and to. You don't mind doing that?
No.
Okay, now I'll call Freeport McMoran, ask about the pit.
And that would be Robert, right?
Yeah.
yes.
And are we going to have, police officers at the end of the street, or what is our requirement for that?
So it's my understanding, and the city can correct me if I'm wrong, that they no longer give barricades out.
No, we don't. You have to get those yourself.
So I was a participant in a wedding where we used tires the other day. So we will have to figure out how to get a barricade. And I think that we also,
Yeah.
that's why we have to go to council, because we have to ask them what we have to do.
What
Like,
their requirements?
do we have to have a cop?
Mhm.
And
I don't know.
so we do.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have? You're not having alcohol, are you?
We might.
You might. Well, what about somebody contacting the Rangers?
Oh, the Rangers would be the ones that would do that too, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they help with the brats all the time.
They
They're
help-
really
yeah, they
good.
help with
They're
a lot
actually
of-
better.
Would somebody volunteer to contact the Rangers and see what their rates are?
Okay, I'll do that.
Are these the Arizona Rangers?
Yeah. 'cause they-
So, and how long do we want them? What am I asked for, what kind of
So
duration?
2 days.
So Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday,
I
Sunday.
would say we're probably gonna have though a Friday evening event also.
Well, I just don't know if legally we have to have a cop posted for shutting the street down or not for that long.
I don't think so, because even when we have the street shut off for movies in the park, there's not a cop there. We just shut the street off at the one end, and you can still go around.
But if we have alcohol, then are we obligated on some? Because we've had events with alcohol before. And
I think I don't think it needs to be for alcohol, it doesn't have to be a police officer. It can just be like private security, like someone that you,
Like the Arizona Rangers.
yeah, like the Arizona Rangers or some other organization that does those kinds of things.
Yeah, because last time we made Bill check the IDs.
So we would want to have how many rangers?
Well, we don't know if we, yeah,
Even need them yet.
Yeah.
but it'd be nice to find out how much they, if we feel like we do. The thing that we have not discussed, and is, are we allowing people to keep their booths up overnight? Which I would say, hopefully, because it's a pain to move everything.
Yes.
If we have a booth up overnight, even with just the coverings on them, we might need security to be there, just to watch them. And that would be when it's pertinent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
So yeah, it would be overnight then, in that case.
Hmm.
Because I hate the idea of people having to take it down.
Yeah, although typically artists, festivals, well, they usually zip up they lock up their tents.
But we still need somebody to troll, I was gonna say troll around.
They're probably going to have to pick up their work and then bring it back the next day. The booths can stay, but their art's gonna have to, I don't think we can leave the stuff out.
Unless we have but we're also gonna have stages and stuff, you know, we are gonna,
Yeah,
I was
okay.
gonna say we're gonna have crap all over the wall, but it is kind of true. So we might want to see if there's,
Yeah, okay.
okay, but we'll find out, yeah.
We'll do that, okay.
Now, was it Tony from Ten Tom? He's had the mariachi festival several times, and they bring in stages. Would it be beneficial to consult him and see how and where he gets all of that?
Yeah, that would be good to
Like
know.
portable staging.
I know that the music festival used the back of like a semi or one of those.
Semi,
Oh,
But if you wanna find out where he gets them, because there's probably something that we're gonna need.
I'm sure he knows how to wheel and deal and stuff like that, so.
good.
Well, same thing with we're gonna need somebody to, so, there was this rumor that the pop tent still existed. But it was not true. And for years, I've been
But the
hearing about.
rumor went all over town.
No, it was. For years, I've been hearing that there were pop tents somewhere from the city of Bisbee, but apparently they burned.
I asked Lorena, she
Yeah.
said there are none, and I trust Lorena because she would keep,
Oh,
she has to keep account of those.
I 100% trust you. I just think it's funny for years that people have been like, the pop tents. And you're like, they don't exist.
Well, depending on where they kept them, and I believe it was in their,
I heard it was in the basement of City Hall.
no, I don't think it was in the basement, I think it was in their, vault,
Oh.
and so that's gone. All that is
So-
gone.
I have a question about that. Are we for sure that we want to supply the pop tents so that way there's consistency and each space is, you know, because you think about like a farmer's market setup or something.
Well, that's the thought, is we're gonna end up,
If
It looked
everybody,
too hodgepodge, I think is what you're
yeah,
saying.
like, so that we have more consistency and, okay.
So can they be rented?
That's what we need to find out.
yes, they can.
So, does somebody want to volunteer to track down where one can rent pop tents? And then, and also do a little bit of counting and see if we have to buy them, how much they would cost us?
I can do that.
Is there a place to store them?
That's the whole point. The whole point of me asking the entire commission is so you will not volunteer.
Wait, maybe you should just wait a beat. And then see.
Yeah, give us a second.
her job to do it.
Would someone other than Sharon like to volunteer?
I don't feel like it's.
I don't even know where to look.
You recommend it down then.
I'll let that pass. Okay. So we have, I'm gonna move forward.
Okay,
So I'll talk to Tony, since I have a relationship with him already.
on stages, okay.
Yes, and I'm doing Lowell High School, right?
No, it's Lowell Middle School.
Lowell.
Oh, middle school?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And then discussion regarding on how to do the invitation. Has everybody been working on a list of artists?
Well, we've got this
10.9.
list here and I
It's
have my
just-
own list.
I have my own list. So can I, unless somebody, can you guys email me your list and I will put everyone's list together?
That's a good idea.
And then we will go at it from that.
Sure.
That seems
Don't
like a
email,
really
don't email Karen, email
Email
me.
If everyone will email, and then I will compile a list of everyone that everybody has put on the list.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. So that is regarding how we will do the invitational. No, I'm just kidding, but that's partially.
Do we want to do on the list, include performing artists as well, or should that be a separate list?
Separate list.
Okay.
This is just the people, the 50, we're looking for 50 spots for invitational. So what I'm looking for is the 50 artists in town that you think represent our art scene. And so
Visual artists.
visual artists. So we're looking for people, it doesn't have to be everyone, but people who, this is, you know, what they do for a living, because they're the ones that need the most support. I think people who have a history of making art, you know, people who have had shows before.
It's nice if they have some sort of a,
History.
yeah, a vitae that shows that they, you know, they're masters, you know, showings, or whatever. I would like to know that this has been an artist that we can, you know, kind of showcase. All of the artists are invited, thank goodness for Central School, that we don't have to say to anybody, you don't fit. And this list is more than 50 people, and I'm not saying all these people I want on the list. I'm just trying to come up with a big list. And we're going to have to eliminate people. That's the truth.
And so the way that I think that,
So having somewhat of a vitae, the artist should have a little bit of a vitae at least, a biographical sketch that tells us that they have a
so what I would like to do is, I will compile a list of all your lists. A lot of our lists are going to have the same people,
Yes.
Yes.
and then we're gonna see how many we have and go from there. Okay.
Yes.
Does that sound like a good plan
And
for
and
you?
I already see people I didn't even have on this, and I couldn't remember the Beauvais brothers,
Collins.
Paul and
Steve.
Paul and Steve. So I just put brothers, but
We know you.
So also what I'm gonna ask, we're gonna compile a list of musicians, you know?
Yes.
Same thing, make a list of musicians that you think, send the list to me, I will compile a major list. Literary arts, you know, so that we are hoping to have people doing poetry at some point, that kind of stuff. We want to represent everybody, send that list to me, and then performing arts.
Don't send the list to Karen.
I mean it
Nina.
metaphorically.
I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you've been working with performing artists a lot.
Yeah, primarily circus arts, so street arts. And that list is actually pretty small for anybody that has experience, you know. I don't know if we're wanting to also include, okay, so it's the whole thing of amateur arts.
Yeah.
Okay, so like burlesque and various expressive dances are, even if you're a professional, they're still considered an amateur art form.
Not in this room, but yeah.
So, it's like, where do we, like.
Let's just write a wish list.
Yeah, make a list of, and then don't send it to me.
I also wanted to make sure that I let you guys know, because I'm representing Bisbee Arts Commission, that I would like to contact, there's several small towns in eastern Washington that have really large arts festivals, and they've always included circus arts. And I would like to know, kind of just ask their advice on how do they go about liability, and how do they organize it, and,
That sounds great. That would be awesome.
Okay.
Because we haven't talked to the city about insurance yet.
I have that on my list.
And that's, I think it'll
Don't
be.
tell them that they're gonna be.
No, but I'll just tell you, all performing aerial artists carry over $1 million of liability insurance on themselves. There's specific insurance companies that do just that. But that's not gonna be the case if we do stilt walkers and belly
All the
dancers
others, yes.
and jugglers, So, I just kind of wanted to find out.
Yeah, and isn't there, and this is not a derogatory term, this is actually what it's called, isn't there like clown insurance that covers?
Yeah, there
Actually,
is.
is what it's called.
But clowning and like certain kinds of
That
acrobatics
doesn't cover everything.
and aerial arts are the biggest out of, and so they have their specific niche. but most don't. You can't go and say like, oh, I'm a stilt walker or I'm a juggler. Do you have insurance specifically for that?
If
So-
if you'll talk to those other cities,
Yeah.
that would be amazing. 'Cause
Twist-
we'll see how they do it in other cities.
Yeah, Twist and Winthrop are both similar size as Bisbee, and they have big festivals and include them. So I have a contact that knows the people who. So
That's great.
Cool.
If you could find out, because that's a very confusing, I mean, it's a very detailed thing, so.
it's just such a niche.
Exactly, that's what I'm
Yeah.
looking for. Awesome.
And I also already acquired multiple rigs that we don't even have to rent. So we'll see if that works.
City's gonna kill us. All right. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
I think the best way to learn anything is to find somebody who's already done it.
Yeah, for sure.
How many booths? We already talked about that. Maximum of 30 is how many we can fit. Sponsors for the BAC event. I would say next meeting we're to look at our budget and see if we need sponsors. The only reason that came up is because potentially if we're having to rent the buses from the city, the shuttles, we might be in a little bit of a.
Right.
But we'll start filling in the budget, because now we know how much things are actually going to cost, and so we'll have a better understanding. And also, do you have an amount of how much we have in our account right now?
No, I forgot to look.
No. And we'll just need it next time,
Yeah.
then we'll know actually how much. Installation proposals, that actually went along with Archway too, is that I thought one thing that would be nice is to ask for proposals for installation work. Like, and it didn't necessarily have to be an archway, but like something when you first come in.
Kind of announces the entrance.
Yeah, and see if there was somebody local who could make something for us, you know? I think that deadline is quite far away right now.
I wonder if Chico could.
Chico, yeah.
That's what we were thinking about, somebody like that. I'd love to have Chico's work there, because he makes the biggest work of town, size wise. Same thing with projections. We're gonna be having some night stuff, especially Friday evening. So it would be cool to project onto the buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to make it a little bit, interesting for sure.
Ed,
Yeah, that's great. So if anybody, I know there's a few other people in town, so those are just ideas that are floating right now. Item 5, discussion on any additional items. Just in case. Diana knows how to
I have
take
an
care of us.
additional, I
Yeah,
have
please.
this here, a couple of things, is, we're gonna have to figure out restrooms.
Restrooms.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Amy, would you be open to contacting those companies and seeing what the cost of them is?
I'll try to figure out what those kind of companies are.
Amy,
Just drive toward.
if you
Porta
call Lorena, we
Oh,
use
Public
porta
Works.
potties all the time
Lorena,
in
She's
Public Works.
okay.
We use porta potties all the time for the city, and so maybe she could put you in contact with some of the ones that we use.
And you'll also have an idea of how many we're gonna need, considering what we're doing.
And her
Okay.
number is 520-432-6002. But she may be able to point you in the right direction.
All right, so I'm just getting a cost and companies.
I was pretty impressed. I went to the Cowboy Festival recently, it was like last month.
Is that Wickenburg?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had our hats in them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with the porta potty situation. Like, they literally have some really nice hand washing stations and
Yeah.
stuff. So, like, they've upgraded.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And there's probably different levels too. Like you can get the
Like,
hole in the ground.
Let's not do that one.
the bucket behind the bush.
We'll dig you a hole.
I have another question.
Yes,
You
please.
mentioned alcohol, so do we have to apply for an alcohol permit?
Yes.
How long does that take? I mean,
Usually just a few weeks, but.
oh.
We're gonna try and do it like 6
We're gonna-
weeks,
let's
6
do it
months
way
ahead.
Let's do it ahead of time, way ahead of time.
I
What
thought-
were you picturing for that?
Like a beer garden type setup, or?
Friday night, we're having an event for locals to celebrate, and that could be potentially a fundraising event. We will have alcohol at that event.
So just like a bar setup?
That's a
or
bar,
some-
but that's mostly for like all the locals, that want to pay to see things early
Yeah,
and to open to them.
yeah, it's sort of a VIP,
Yeah,
Oh.
private.
it's a
party.
pay to play. But, we could, and we hadn't decided, we could have beer on the street in certain areas, very heavily regulated. I'm looking at my notices. With barriers.
We could probably get some high school kids to volunteer to run those. Beer trucks.
She didn't mean that.
I'm just kidding.
They're gonna be like, we have too much fun at this meeting.
Zachary Gilmore's got nothing on us.
I think it would probably be a nice thing to be able to have a beer garden at the event, but if we can't, we can't, but it would be nice. It's Oktoberfest, it's October, you know, it could be fun.
It's not that hard to
Beer
get
and
a few
wine.
breweries. So we've done it before for different
We
events.
do.
We have to get a nonprofit to sponsor us, or so we give a certain percentage to whatever nonprofit is willing to give us a license. And we've had good luck in the past, because imagine like, so at the end of Lowell, when they had the music festival, they had a stage, and then they had an area where people could sit down and drink beer and watch the musicians.
That sounds nice.
That's
Or
great.
the
That's very nice.
Or the
performing.
Yeah, or both, you know? So I
Yeah,
think that might be nice.
yeah.
And it's not, I would like to do it, I have waited until a month before, and that is when
It's
you
really
start,
stressful.
you realize you have to drive to Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll do it, we're gonna hopefully,
Put
knock
that in your
out-
timeline.
yeah, knock out all our issues with the city pretty early on.
Yeah.
Cause I know everything's delayed right now too, right? I mean,
No.
are things taking longer? Not with you, but with the state.
Not that I've noticed with the liquor.
Okay, cool.
As long as they drive, because there's several that have driven them up and got it the same day. Because that's what they did, the Shady Dale did for the Bisbee Friends.
Yeah.
They drove up there and got it.
Yeah, he drove up there and got it.
Otherwise, you could wait like 2 weeks and they send it to you, but, all right, we'll go ahead and look at that then. Any other additional items related to the BAC event that anybody thought of? And if you don't have a job right now, do not worry, because you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, and I've brought this up multiple times, is, I'm rather nervous about the workload.
We'll laugh through the pain.
Okay.
That's a good philosophy.
Yeah.
We should
It's
get
not gonna- it's
shirts
not gonna
that
be
say
too
that,
miserable.
or buttons.
It's gonna be fun.
No,
It's
I
really
think it'll
gonna be
be,
fun, you guys.
because we're starting so far in advance too,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be
We can
fine.
spread it out.
We'll be able to, the weeks, coming up right up to the event, it's gonna be stressful no matter what,
Yeah,
they
of
always
course.
are, but I think that we're doing it the right way, that if, we won't be too stressed the whole year, just a month out of the year.
Yeah.
And then there's enough of us too, I mean, we're gonna have to look for volunteers as well, so hopefully you'll have people to assist you.
Of course.
And if anybody says like, I mean, you can't do this the day of the festival, obviously, but if you're like, I need a break for a couple weeks. So, I mean, I think that we'll be able to figure it out.
Well, and it's funny because I get a lot more anxious thinking about all of this, and then I come to a meeting, and with all of you guys, then all of a sudden, my anxiety, like, I'm like, I'm part of the team, it's
Yeah,
okay.
you're not alone.
It's all right, chill out.
If one of us is gonna get tarred and feathered, all of us is gonna get tarred.
Yeah, exactly. We're either gonna succeed or fail all together as a group.
I'll give you my number and I'll talk you off the ledge.
Okay.
That's my gift. is
That's
I
her
can
gift,
talk you
okay.
off the
We have a
ledge.
very good track record of having very successful events. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
the biggest one for sure, but we have, the art auction was huge, and we put that together fairly fast. So, I feel
And the
like,
cigar
And I
party was great.
yeah, I mean,
Yes.
everything's been very
I
successful.
haven't
I
been
have
to
a
a
lot
party
of
yet.
The
experience
cigar party, you
in
did
producing
you
shows
were-
and stuff, but
Been
it's
to
such
any
niche
parties?
stuff.
Allison
But
Cloud.
that's what makes me so
did a video
nervous.
on it.
Yeah, if you feel nervous at all, just
It's
talk to
fun.
me, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
You can look it up, yeah.
Alright, now we're all talking over each other.
Sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
Just wanted to, one that I was doing it too.
Okay, we haven't just brought it up, but breakdown at the very end. And how we're,
We're just gonna burn it down.
We don't use that term.
What's happened in the city, we don't.
Oh, yeah, I forgot City Hall is in Lowell. But,
We, it's a four-letter F word, but different. We don't talk about that.
I would say once again, metaphorically.
but we should have a procedure in place for breaking
That's a
down.
good idea.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just, Yeah, let's start thinking about that.
It
And
just
we're
gets
thinking-
added to the teams that will be doing things, so
Mhm.
there'll be a team on the Monday afterwards.
And we're gonna start breaking into, we had the timeline too, we're gonna start talking about breaking into different teams and
Yeah.
stuff too.
Yeah.
So that we can get more specialized about the things that we wanna do and need to do.
Can I say one last?
Yes, please.
thing? As far as bringing people in for like volunteer to help us with stuff, how do we go through that process? Is there?
I think that if you know somebody obviously and you want them to volunteer, then you can just, it might be in our best interest to put a page on the website where it lets people volunteer. And we can
That's a good
also,
idea.
and then they can sign up, we can have their phone number and stuff, and we can start, because the awesome thing about Bisbee is that people wanna participate. We can make some incentive, like you can come to the VIP party for free or something, we'll find a nice incentive to get people to volunteer for it, you know?
This week I meet, with a fellow aerialist that moved to town. She's actually gonna be opening an aerial studio.
I met her,
Yeah, Sarah. And we're going to be discussing starting a circus field. And
Cool.
so, that's something that would bring in volunteers.
So what I'm gonna do is is everybody familiar with using Google Docs?
No.
It's easy.
It's very
pretty
easy.
I used them, but it's
We're
been
gonna
15
start,
years.
I'll start a Google Docs folder for us. And what it does is I'll send it to you. I will not send it to everybody else. It's you, and she'll send it to you.
Don't send it to Karen.
And one of the Google Docs will be a volunteer list.
Okay, great.
And like I said, the website's gonna be putting stuff on the Google Docs too, automatically, which makes it easy, but we can work on that. So if you say, like, I have this person wants to volunteer, it'll be name, what they're volunteering, email, phone number.
Okay.
And so, I'll start that.
And part of that is an orientation as we get closer to the event.
It will be, for sure. We're not gonna just let them run around.
All right.
Run amok.
No, yeah, we'll do an orientation. Sharon and I got through a timeline through March. And then we realized that, like, it's hard to make a timeline past that because we don't know even though we know what we're gonna have to do, it's hard to know what we'll have done by then and the things that will come up. So yeah, orientation, but that is definitely something that we'll need to have.
That's gonna be really close to the actual event.
Yes. And teachers.
What we're looking for next time is what we're gonna be bringing to you is that ad and the poster for your approval, maybe multiples depending on what she makes. We'll vote on that. We're trying to have the ad put into, we're gonna vote on where we're going to put the ad, what we're gonna do with the posters. That's the next big step. We'll have a basic website, it's mostly a landing page, and we'll be adding to it. And we're gonna look at that too. And then we'll keep on going all the time, of course, with things, as issues arise, everybody will bring them to us, because there's a million things.
Yeah. Initially, right now, we need everyone to participate in coming up with these lists
Right.
of our artists in our
Of the
community.
artist list.
Yeah, the artist list.
And that now is gonna be, let's go ahead and do a musician's list, let's do a performance arts list.
Right.
And you're the one probably, because you're doing the poets thing, the literary.
That'd be
I
great.
don't know if you wanna continue, or if you wanna,
I'll talk about that in a minute.
yeah, and then, okay, musicians too. I was gonna give you both.
Yeah.
No,
No, just kidding.
When we send the
We
list
can
to
all
Nina,
Yeah.
if we have one or two people to
Yeah,
include on
right.
the literary
Right.
list or
Right,
same
whatever.
thing. We'll
Exactly, everybody add to
I'll
it.
probably make a Google Doc of all of them too.
Yeah,
Yes.
Because we're gonna do
everybody add to it, and then we'll decide how to divide it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, any additional items related to the BAC event? Then we're gonna go back to our regular agenda.
Oh.
No, it's not gonna, I think everybody's feeling, update, discussion on the following, this is updates. How's the cigar machine doing?
Great, we sold 67 pieces last month,
Excellent.
Yay.
$1,340.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
That's
And
great.
this is just the beginning of season, so, okay.
Any other comments? Poet's Corner.
Well, it's not the greatest news, but I've been talking to the staff at the radio station. We've I've kind of exhausted all the poets that are actually going to be willing to literally submit stuff.
I just got an image of sleeping poets everywhere.
Yeah, they're sleeping. There's some, but I was talking to the staff at the radio station, we're kind of thinking the show has run its course. It's been impossible to get anybody else, and I don't want to begin to harass people that I've known for 30 years who haven't participated yet. So we're thinking a logical conclusion would be to end it in the end of January. We have a couple more submissions that we're going to be turning in 2 weeks' time, but people have been repeating, and the shows have been repeating, and we feel like that's enough repetition, and it's been great during the pandemic. It's been really a fun thing, but I kind of run out of poets. I certainly have ideas for people for the festival, though.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Well, I think that a successful thing like that is not a thing that lasts forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything runs its course.
Okay.
And then we'll have it on, we have the recordings.
Yes.
Which would also be something great for maybe the machine or something at some point.
Yeah, put them on
That's a
a
good idea.
MP3s, yeah.
Yeah.
I have them too, I have them to give to you,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, Ann, thank you so much for seeing it through, too.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Social media.
It's moving along.
It is, I see it all the time, it's good.
Unless you guys have suggestions or complaints.
I think you're doing great.
It's looking good to me.
I definitely am starting to give myself a couple days off each week. And I'm really sick of artists not responding to me, so I just basically go on Facebook and look at new work or find it on Instagram, and I can't copy it off Instagram, so then I go find their work on Facebook, and I message them and say, I'd like to post these pictures.
Oh, wow.
Nobody ever says no.
Yeah.
So it's so
Do they
much
take the time to do themselves?
easier than emailing them and like answering a million questions about what I want. I'm like, I just want your freaking pictures and your name and your, you know.
That's, yeah.
So frustrating.
So basically, yeah, I just dig and find posts. We luckily have so many artists involved with the SIG Art machine that that's my primary focus right now, especially as we're moving towards Christmas. So, but
Yeah, everybody take a moment to, if you're on social media, to plug, you know, the stocking stuffers that are inside the machine. Because there really is some beautiful things coming in. Kate Bishop I haven't got it in there yet because I have to get these photographs done. Kate Bishop made these little bouquets of handmade flowers that you can either wear on a hat or a brooch or put them on the tree as an ornament. I mean, there's some really good, really wonderful things
creative.
coming.
Cool.
Oh my goodness, so much work people do. It's amazing to me.
And don't forget, if you guys have something that you are connected to and you'd really like me to put out there, you know, right now I'm having to beg to promote people, so.
So the chorus is coming up with an event, you know, the Bisbee chorus.
Oh, okay,
So
Yeah, we funded them in the past 2 years.
okay. Yeah, and like, I wish I would have known this was, the
Oh,
4th was the first day. I would have definitely promoted that for you guys, but.
yeah, I didn't realize either.
But this week and next week I will. Yee, there's 2 posts.
I'll say something about New Year's.
Okay.
We're having a New Year's party. But
Oh, actually, I already, is that in the Gulch, the expats? Yeah.
thought I had something for once.
But if you have good pictures or something,
Yeah, there's a few things coming up. I'll send you. I'll look and
Okay.
see.
yeah. Random pictures my way anytime.
All right. Local artist video project. How's it going?
It's going. I was hoping to have had it done by now, and you know, I had 900 personal things pop up just like everybody else. But yeah, I'm working on it. I'm editing right
Who are
now.
you
It should be soon. Lance Von Proom.
Oh, that's right.
That's great.
Yeah, so I did his interviews, and I've cut, I think I had like 88 minutes. I've got it down to 13.
Wow.
Still.
Good job.
Yeah.
We're still chopping.
Sounds like a beetle.
I'm working on it. He has a lot of interesting things to say.
And then the window trivia.
Everybody loves it. I got stopped on the street the other day, Helen Stevie, just so excited. So everybody loves it. And it's a really, I think it's a really nice window. It's a real traditional, look at somebody's,
I couldn't
Yeah, everybody
remember
does
how long is it gonna be staying up?
they're 6 months.
6 months, okay. So what's the month that's coming down?
Good question.
Well,
December.
And actually, I was gonna say, just as an aside,
April.
once it comes down, we should probably think about if the museum's open, advertising for the art festival in the window.
In the window?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Because I want to do a once a month post
April.
about the trivia
April.
window, and I was writing up the text for it yesterday, and I was like, what month is it running through? And I just couldn't remember, so April, okay.
We wanted to ask the commissioners if they remember anything from the previous
Oh, that's right.
installation in that window.
Very important.
We have a symbol, like a drum cymbal, that came out of the window, but we don't remember who loaned it to us for that musician.
Oh, that's so weird, I don't have any idea.
I have no idea. It came in late. Danielle Panther says it's not theirs. It's not the expats. It's
I
not
don't-
Jenny and Mitch. I thought, well, now who else could it be? That's so funny.
If no one,
Wants it?
if no one knows, I'll offer to Rachel Pearson's son, who's a drummer, but I kind of think he has things already. But I would like the
Does anybody
permission
remember
to
where
give
that
it
came
away.
Let me ask is it possible to get it from my house?
Could be.
It could have.
That would be hilarious.
I know, if you live with a musician, you realize that there's so many musical instruments, you have no idea
Yeah.
what it belongs to who. Let me
Right.
ask, 'cause
Well, ask, because it
Ask-
makes sense that it might have come, but then there might be an extra symbol and they don't miss it, so they
yeah,
don't
'cause
think
look,
about it.
there's 3 drum sets. You
Right,
never
right,
know.
right. So they may not miss it.
We
Let
can't
me
have
ask,
another
'cause
one.
now
in
I
our
think about it,
house.
I'm like, that's really weird. But I don't think so.
So, or did we didn't get it out of the museum, it wasn't there at the museum, it came in. I brought the guitar and then the cymbal showed up.
If somebody watches this and they're missing a symbol, please contact Nina, the city of Bisbee.
If anybody has a 4-year-old and would like a cymbal for Christmas.
All right.
0 people.
Hey, that was not that. We did okay
Yeah.
considering the. Well, I'm saying more I hate for a meeting to go over an hour and a half because I feel like then you start sucking out people's souls. So,
Yeah.
future agenda items, a lot of that.
I have them all listed.
All right. Yes, Juanetta?
Cartoonists.
Oh yeah, Juanetta had found some,
We got that one.
Taken 2 years.
Juanetta had, did you want to say you found some people who were interested?
Yes, I have some students
Oh,
that
nice.
are interested in the work. Oh my God, this young lady is an incredible cartoonist. She's 13. And I spoke with her mother, and I've invited them to come to the January meeting, because they had questions about what's the responsibility and so on and so forth. They wanted some assurance about it, and I gave them the printout describing what the whole cartoon published, cartoons be published in the paper. But when she went back to school, a number of other students said, can we come as well?
Oh, nice.
Is she at the middle school?
Well, actually, this particular young lady lives off of Double Adobe, and she stopped at my little booth in Bisbee and did some math. And when she went home and discussed it with other students, they were excited as well. So I've asked her to send me some of the art that they have done. And since we have a little interest, I thought I would reach out to the schools here again and see if we could get some students from the middle and the high school to
That's awesome.
participate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
See, that's when you
Exciting.
stop having cry, you finally found somebody. I think it's much better. But the kids, that's even better.
It is
I mean,
better. Really
Yeah.
great.
the kids are great.
I mean, they sent me pictures, I would send them to,
Don't send it.
don't send
Don't
them
send
to
it
parents. I just
I would have
have to
to
figure out how to do that on my phone.
Oh, that'd be great. I think that's an amazing term, so that's awesome. Any other future agenda items?
We'll see, too.
If you think of an agenda item, we can always add, but I think I'm keeping track pretty well. Bill Higgins,
I moved to adjourn.
I second it.
all eyes.
Aye.
Good evening, thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Carolyn.